We're getting set now for the second of our late afternoon special events. You can see the guys over there on the back straight. A special Tamiya tribute parade. So we're going to be parading something like 32 different Tamiya models around the track this afternoon. James Knight of Knight Custom Creations is going to join me, and so James and I will talk through each of the cars as they're called away. And it's not a race, this is a parade, so you'll see the cars just cruising around slowly, and we'll try and pick up some of them on the camera as they do that. You can see everyone out here getting set for the afternoon. The cars will be heading off in age order, so the Tamiya model numbers and the names. James will be doing that. I don't know enough about Tamiya cars. They're just getting everyone set up in the right order at the moment. An incredible collection here from the Super Champs and things right at the very beginning, right through to Tamiya Blackfoots and lunchboxes, hot shots. Go and see James down the end there, Hara. So Atsushi Hara coming out with his lunchbox. We'll probably give him a special place in the parade. There's a fabulous collection of cars. You can see as Tony runs down there, the Mitsubishi Pajero body, the Dakar body. And then we're looking at variations of Hornets, fast attack vehicles, the Hot Shot, the Wild One, the Fox. And then we get into some of the later shots, the Boomerang, the Super Shot, the Blackfoot, the Mighty Blackfoot truck, the Monster Beetle. A couple of lunchboxes there, one original painted, and of course the Atsushi Hara version. Then we get to later cars, things like Thunder Shots and the Avanti. We've got a Clodbuster, the Super Astutes, King Cabs, all sorts of things. We'll have Top Forces, Super Astutes, Top Force. What's Tony found down there? Some kind of old VW looking thing. I can't even see what it is from the distance away I am. Incredible collection of race cars. Race cars? Cars, RC cars from Tamiya here, the powerhouse Japanese manufacturer that has started so many different trends over the years. They were the ones who built the first drivable, robust enough electric off-road cars that spawned the electric off-road category that exploded through the mid-1980s. They were the ones who released the first touring cars that exploded the touring car craze. They were the ones who released the first Formula Ones that exploded Formula One racing around the world. So often it is Tamiya at the forefront of new categories of RC, and that's no different in what we're going to see here today. Is the evolution of the brand, the evolution of racing itself as we work our way through these 32 different models. We've got the Clodbuster blowing its horn. We'll see if I can get down there and get that horn on the microphone. See if we can do that again. Who's got the Clod? Blow the horn. James. There we go, little Clodbuster horn action. Oh, hang on a minute, we'll go back in. There we go. Who knows what that's going to run over. It's got four-wheel steering. Probably run over me if I don't get out of the way quickly enough. So we're just getting everyone set here, and then I think this, I've just seen a Tamiya 959 Porsche come out, the rally car, special edition. Incredible collection of Tamiya cars. There are multiples of most of these cars here today, but we're trying to just run with one of each version of the car, with the exception of the lunchbox, making an exception to run the Atsushi Hara special edition of the lunchbox in this parade. We're going to check in with James Knight of Knight Customs shortly as he prepares the list. Last call for photos. So it might take us a little while to get this going, of course, folks. You can imagine everyone that's here that wants to have photos and see videos and capture all of these cars in their glory. They're spectacular. They are spectacular. It's incredible. I've just seen a replica of the Jamie Booth Euros winning egress down the end there. It's all happening. I'm here with James. We'll have a quick chat before we go live, mate. This is pretty cool, right?
That's pretty cool, isn't it? Seeing all the cars. There are way more Tamiyas here than we've got out, but what we tried to do was do one model of every version we could find.
Yep.
So we've got what we got. We've got just over 40 cars here. from 5815, which was the Rough Rider, which is a highly modified version, all the way through to, I think, the Wild Willie 2 and the latest Evo Hornet, which isn't really an original, but it is a Tamiya, and I think it nicely bookends sort of what Tamiya have done. So it's going to be fun to talk this through as they go. They're going to do a parade lap. You're going to call them out one by one, so we'll see how that goes. I'm going to do a little shouting, if that's all right.
Should we get the show on the road?
Let's do it. All right.
All right. I'm just going to ask the spectators to move out to the outside of the track so we can keep an eye on what happens. And James and I will stand up the end here, and James will call you away. We've got a double microphone because one's for the stream, one's for... I can hold it.
Can you hold it? You guys hear me okay? All right, guys. So like I said before in the briefing, I'm going to call out the car and your name, and I just want you to start driving around the track nice and leisurely. You can walk behind it if you want. Please stay off the track. And then the next person we'll call will follow behind. Just try and keep it's a parade, so don't overtake the guy in front. This isn't racing. We've done enough of that today. And this will be fun, all right? Everyone got their cameras ready? Instagram up? TikTok feed ready to go? Okay. All right, let's get this kicked off. Well, do we just do a quick minute of silence for Mr. Tamiya? So as many of you know, Tamiya was, for many of us, our first RC car. So we'll just take a quick moment to recognize the great man and his passing. All right, that feels like long enough. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. We're going to kick this off. Okay, so the Tamiya kit number 58015, the Rough Rider. Chris has got a beautiful race-ready version here, which he's been racing today. Off you go, Chris. You want to kick us off? Awesome. And then right behind him, we have the Sand Scorcher, also on the SRB chassis, with 58016, and that's driven by and built by Levin. Off you go, Levin. And to complete the set, we have the highly modified SRB chassis with the crazy rear monoshock, driven by Dean. That's the 58034 Super Champ, later released as the Fighter Buggy. Next on the list, we have 58041, the Frog, driven by Ryan. Off you go, Ryan. And right behind him, we have 58043, the Grasshopper, driven by Dave Bradshaw. Many of us here, I think, had this as our first RC car. All right. Next, we've got, it's a bit of a cheater here, but 58044, later released as 58727. This is the Mitsubishi Pajero, which was sort of based on the Lunchbox chassis, and then later released with the Lunchbox wheels. Sol's got a crazy version here, which is in the Dakar theme. Next, we've got Lewis with his Hornet. This one's got this actually raced out of Worlds. If you take a closer look at this, it's not really a Hornet. It's got a hotshot mid-mounted rear gearbox and a ton of mods. And the kid that built it and raced it at the Worlds didn't even have shocks at the front. He used an FRP plate. I don't know where it placed, but it's an amazing bit of history. All right, next we've got the FAV number 58046, driven by Jack. And then right behind that, 5847 Hotshot. This is my personal car. We'll be racing tomorrow, driven by Rob G. And then we've got 58050, the Wild One, driven by Marlin. Now, Marlin has got some custom aluminium panels here, which he 3D printed and then formed himself. He's been racing this. It's an awesome car. And then right behind that, 58051, the Fox, driven by Dean. This has a modified body on it. I think this is one of the best looking Foxes I've seen. And we've got 58054, the Super Shot, driven by Hursty. I think this is a loaner since he didn't know what he had in his hand when he was talking to me about it. Based on the Hot Shots chassis, but with a lot better shocks and a skid plate. All right, after that, we've got 58055, the Boomerang, driven by Hayden. Off you go, Hayden. And then we've got 58056, the Falcon, driven by Adam. Oh, no, a notoriously bad car that broke, and maybe that's what happened today, but it was racing. Then we've got 58057, the Bigwig, driven by Steve. I think Steve's out, okay. And we've got 58058, the Blackfoot, driven by Adam. Blackfoot, is he gone? Where? I just saw him. No, he's playing up, all right. Well, right behind him, we've got the 58059, the 959, driven by Christian. I might have got that number wrong. 1/12 scale rally car, incredibly fragile but amazingly fast if you've ever driven one. And then we've got 58060, the Monster Beetle driven by Andrew. For those who don't know, this is what Tamiya did with the Frog, which they're so good at. They took a Frog buggy, giant wheels, and if you've ever driven one of these, they're the most fun. Okay, then we've got 58063, the Lunchbox, driven by James. Then we've got 58. And then we've got another Lunchbox driven by Ahara, which has got his amazing livery on it. Look at that. You're gonna pop a wheelie for us, buddy? Let's see it. All right, then we've got 58065, the Clod driven by Mark. He's got a bit of a custom sound system here, which is awesome. I think we're missing Clint with 58066, the Super Saber. Then we've got 58067. This was my first four-wheel drive, the Thundershot. Funny story, I bought a Thunder Dragon, hated the body, then went straight back to the hobby shop and changed the body out. Beautiful car, classic, been re-released. Then we've got 5870, the Midlight Pumpkin driven by Squirt. No, wait a minute, he switched it out. He's coming later. 58072, the Avanti driven by Kim. First time I think he's driving this in anger. And then we got 58076, the Vanquish driven by Dino. 58080, the Astute driven by Tyson. And then we got another Astute, Super Astute's coming later. And then 58081, the King Cab driven by Nick. This thing's got a metal chassis, do not get anywhere near it when it's going at speed, and he does race it. 58097, the Super Astute driven by Jun. Oh no, we got just Jun. Oh, we got Alex and Jun. Well, let them both go. So we broke the rules here. We got guest drivers, given we've got friends from Japan. Thank you for coming. So we've got Jun Watanabe and Alex with their super suits. Right behind him, 58100, the Top Force by John Dennis. And then right behind him, we've got 58107, the Top Force Evo, driven by Lucas. Now, this doesn't actually look like a Top Force. It's got Jamie Boost prototype chassis on it, which was 5mm longer. And that's a very fun car to drive. Lastly, so 58116, the Dynastorm driven by Squirt. He did a late switch. And then we've got 58122 Blitzer Beetle driven by Rob. 58124 Super Hornet driven by Mike. 58181 Stadium Thunder driven by David. 58242 the Wild One 2. This is the re-release on the new chassis driven by Aiden. Almost done, guys. We've got the 58692 Wild One Blockhead Motors driven by BJ, and check out his driver. This is a beautiful tribute to Jun. And then we've got the 58, I think we've got about 100 of them here. 58742, the Hornet Evo driven by Yoel. And then a highly modified 58742 Hornet Evo driven by Nori-san from Pine Beach Circuit, Japan. Thank you for coming to visit us, Nori. All right, that rounds it out, guys. Thank you very much. And if you want to do one more lap now, you've all backed up. Nori, you good? Yep, great. All right.
So we get those drivers to stay nice and close together as you can as you do one more parade lap all together with the Tamiya cars. We're streaming this all around the world, people watching on, seeing these fabulous Tamiya cars. James introducing 40, was it 40 something, James, I think you said?
Yeah, 42 I think we had.
So we get everyone to run together nice and slow all as we work our way down the back straight here. Fabulous montage of history from right across the Tamiya range, from the very beginning to the very latest. All of the different cars we can find here, and as James said, there's a whole bunch of duplicates we do have here. We could have 100 cars on track, but just trying to keep it to one, essentially one example of each. Mate, this is pretty cool, right?
That's pretty cool, isn't it? I think most people start with a Tamiya. The Grasshopper seems to come up all the time.
Yeah.
I think many people who collect RC cars have many of the first 100, and I think we had a good chunk of the first 100 cars on-road and off-road. This really was just off-road, so it's a fantastic collection. And you walk the pits, you see even more. It was quite hard because we had many people wanting to do the same car, but we had to pick one. So first come, first served. Next year we'll maybe get all 150.
What was your first Tamiya car?
Tamiya Grasshopper. Very expensive in England, so I got the car and the battery and no radio gear. My dad thought it would take me 3 months to build it, and then he'd buy me the radio gear. Boxing Day, I'd built it, figured out that I could wire the battery and turn the MSC, the manual speed control, and I was just ripping it down the garden with no controls. About 3 weeks later, I got the radio gear. Yeah, best car ever.
I started with a Tamiya Hotshot. We bought it on Christmas holidays. My dad took charge of building it. I was a kid, 14, something like that. We took it out on the street. He said, I built it, I'm driving it first. I went, fair enough. He drove it up the street away from him, all fine. Turned around, came back towards him. Of course, turned the wrong direction, straight down a stormwater drain, disappeared.
No, really? You get it back?
Well, I had little twin brothers who were about 4 or 5 years younger than me, so we sent one of them down the stormwater drain to fetch the Hotshot.
My goodness. Is that the first car you raced?
Yeah, so we didn't even know racing was a thing. We bought the Tamiya Hotshot, and then we found out there were racetracks, and then away we went. So a Hotshot, we had a couple of grasshoppers, and then it went from there.
Well, it's the same. I think many people that grew up, I grew up in the UK, there was Beattie's and Taylor and McKenna, and they did such a good job of, everyone talks about how Tamiya would display the cars in the hobby shop. You see those amazing videos. And if you were fortunate enough to get one, there would be a local club somewhere. So we were in our village hall, put the carpet down and hose pipes full of sand. And that was my first racing experience, and in lifetime hooked.
The first day at a racetrack, I accidentally did a Scandinavian flick with the Hotshot, and my dad was watching. He said, how did you do that again? I'm like, I have no idea.
They were, was it an off-road track when you first raced? Yeah. Well, you had them on carpet, and the Hotshot was the car to beat. They could just, it was amazing to watch them.
Wonderful, folks. Thank you so much. We might draw the Tamiya cars to a stop up here on the main straight. So as you come around, we'll wrap this one up. James, any last thoughts? We'll go from here into our open concourse, but any last thoughts here for the Tamiya parade?
No, thanks for everyone for bringing such great cars. It was fun to look at them, especially the modified versions. And thank you to Mr Tamiya for changing all our lives and having such great childhoods and then on into this hobby as an adult. Awesome.
Beautiful. Thank you, folks.